Hi everyone, it's Nancy here with a new process video for you. Here I am just sorting out my papers. I've got 3 pictures that I'm going to be scrapping, and they are Christmas pictures. So that piece of paper you'll see there on my desk is a very old piece of paper from Basic Grey, from the Fruit Cake collection I think. And then also you just saw me pulling out my Maggie Holmes papers there, and that's what I'm going to be using for my background paper. I am just cutting these photos down because when they were printed they came with a slight border. I'm not really sure why. Probably selected the wrong setting. So they're the 3 photos that I want to use. And I'm just going to try and work out how I'm going to get the most out of that paper. As I said, it is very old, but it goes well with this layout. It's got ornaments on, and one of the photos is of the Christmas ornaments at the German Christmas market, so that's the one in the middle, so that's going to go quite well. So I'm just working out sort of the basics of my design here. I decide that the photos are getting a little bit lost against that busy background, so I'm just cutting a couple of thin little strips there to go either side of the photos, so it will look like they're mounted. So now I'm going to just look at adding some background pattern. I'm going to be using first up the American Crafts DIY brayer, and this is the polka dot one, and I'm using the Fired Brick from Tim Holtz. It's the Distress Inks, and I really love this colour. It's quite a Christmassy colour actually. So I'm really happy with how that brayer has come out. And then I'm using one of the new to me Glitz design stamps, and this is the sort of plus signs. And I'm using the moss green or forest green or something. It's quite a dark green, and so that's just adding a different texture in those 2 points. And I actually really like the polka dot and those together. So here I am just adding some of the Heidi Swap Colour Shine, and I use that in Chartreuse and the Gold Lame as well. So that's my background. I do like to just add a little bit of texture, and again, because I'm using 3 photos on this layout, there is not going to be as much room so for the embellishment, so I'm just using my heat gun there to blast that around. And the gold does take a little bit of time to dry, and something I do find with the Heidi Swap Colour Shines is they do go through the paper, so when I turn it over on the back you'll see that it actually has kind of sunk through the paper. But that's fine, it doesn't really matter. So just giving that a little bit of a dry, and now looking at where I'm going to layer my photos up. I decided I need to swap those 2 photos round because the giant sort of nutcracker, his kind of gaze was out of the layout, so I've just swapped those 2 around. So these are both photos from the German market. You will see here that my trimmer does have a bit of problems cutting these photos, so I think I need to get a new blade for this trimmer because it's protesting more and more on photos. So just now looking at adding these layers. And again, I know I always end up covering up portions of my background stamping, but you can still see enough of it to add some interest, and it does make the eye sort of flow across the page. So just adding those ornament border strips, and then these 2 thinner strips just to add a kind of a matte to the photo so they don't kind of disappear against that the busyness of that Basic Grey paper. And actually that, as I say, that is just the other side of that paper, so it all tones in really well. So I'm just using my glue to stick those fiddly little bits down. And again, as I've only put adhesive in the middle of my photos, it makes it really easy to tuck things underneath. Excuse me. Here I'm taking up a set of Paper Artsy stamps, and I got these last year, not 2013, 2012 I picked up these stamps, I believe. So here I am, just having problems trying to find the right sized block, so I do end up having to use my large block, and I'm just using Archiver's black ink to just add stamps onto this layout. And these are of, again, they're Christmas ornaments. These are like baubles and things. So again, I'm adding one down to the bottom, and then I'm going to add 3 up into this top area. And I really like how this adds even more texture to the page, and it's something that I want to start doing more of. I want to start using my stamps more. I do use a lot of phrase stamps on my pages, but I've got lots of images and different things, so I want to start using more of those directly on the layout and in my backgrounds. So here I am now, just looking through my doilies. There you saw I pulled out one of those brown doilies that I got in my first sort of full video after my 30 layouts, and I'm still not overly sure on a brown doily. I pulled out some cream and they didn't work, so I ended up deciding to use one of these gold ones, and again I just cut that in half to spread that on either side of the layout. I don't want to cover up too much of that background stamping, so I do end up having to move that bottom one over a bit. You can see I'm just reaching down into my Studio Calico crop bag where I keep all of my Christmas papers. So I'm just pulling out some bits here from Jenny Bolin. There's some paper from her and some stickers. This is a Simple Stories Christmas collection paper, and this is from a 6x6 paper pad. And I'm just cutting up one of the border strips there, just to add to that bottom cluster. I'm really happy with how that looks. I do just end up cutting it down so I'm not covering up too much of that ornament paper, as I have kept it in my stash for, you know, 3.5 odd years. I don't really want to cover too much of it up. So I'm just looking through to see if there's anything else I can use. And I do keep that down beside me, so that's why you can see me leaning down and rummaging and knocking the camera. Just looking through other 6x6 papers here. Most of these are sort of colour parts from Simple Stories. I've then got some of the basic grey paper pad mixed in. So I'm just looking at my options here. And again, I do find it quite hard to scrap Christmas layouts because they are more theme based than others that I do. But I really want to get some of these papers used up because I've got so much, you know, Christmassy stuff that, you know, I kind of tend to buy a few bits each year, and actually it's just mounting up now. For not this year, Christmas just gone, but the previous 2 years, I've got Chamel's Christmas in a Box, and I've never once completed anything past about day 5 or 6 for Journal Your Christmas. This doesn't work for me, so I really wanted to use up some of this stash. So here you can see I've taken another basic grey paper, and I'm cutting out these poinsettias. I really should have edited this bit of a video because it is basically about 2 or 3 minutes of me fussy cutting. And actually I'm having real problems with these scissors. They're really blunt. I don't have a favourite pair of scissors to scrap with. I know some people do. I just kind of use whatever's lying on my desk. I've got about 4 or 5 pairs. So I just sort of pick and choose whichever one's nearest I pick up. I have the Tim Holtz scissors, but I really don't like them. It's a bit of a running joke between me and my crop friends that the reason I don't like them is because they leave a serrated edge when you cut papers and things like that, and it's hardly noticeable. And a lot of my crop friends just, you know, think it's hilarious that I get so pedantic that I can't use it for cutting paper because I can see this serrated edge, which no one else can see. They're really good scissors to have. I like them, and I use them for cutting fits generally around, but I don't actually use them for crafting that much. I'm definitely not cutting paper because it uses a serrated edge, but there you go, that's just one of my neurotic things. So yeah, I'm just cutting out different selection of these poinsettias to layer in that top and bottom cluster, and I'm just kind of adding those again to the sort of diagonal across the page. As I said, these photos are from the German Christmas market, and there was this massive nutcracker that kind of blew out smoke and things. It was quite scary in a way, and also behind it you will see that there was there's like a tower block, and I really loved it because in this sort of town square they'd put big numbers in each of the windows of the tower block, so it looked like a giant advent calendar, which I just thought was really fab. So you can kind of see that in the background as well. And then there's a close-up of all the amazing glass and wooden and glittery amazing Christmas decorations as well. So, and this again will be in the context of several different layouts about the German market. Here I've just taken two of these Jenny Bowling pink circles. I'm just inking the edges a little bit on those. So just using my glue here, which is running out, and again still don't have my pokey tool, so I'm just using my glue to stick those doilies down and just that bottom banner there. And sort of once I'm happy with where everything's going to go, I like to start sticking it down, because otherwise you carry on too much. You get everything where you want it and then you have to chuck it all off the page and it never looks the same. And I've noticed that even more from narrating these process videos I'm doing. I'll look at something and be like, oh damn, that looks so good, I should have left it there. But then when you actually end up doing the page, it looks nothing like that. So I've just popped those smaller ones up on some 3D foam, and that one I just had a little bit of ink to, because the way the pattern's paper was, there was a few swirls over the edge and there was a white bit going over on the edge of the flowers, so where I'd cut it out it looked really odd. So again, one of my neurotic things, I had to make sure that was covered up. And I'm just adding pink circle to each of those clusters. I say those have been, I've got about 2 sheets I think of those letter stickers, so I really need to get using those. Here I'm doing the finger tab, trying to work out what to do. Here I have just grabbed my Smash Book pen, and this is in the pink one, and I'm just adding some doodling over these stamps and also adding kind of the strings to those top ornaments. And again, it just adds another little bit of detail, and I really love those stamps as well. And in the close-up images at the end, you can kind of see just where I've added that little bit of detail. I did think about putting one of these snowflakes, these felt snowflakes, but it didn't really go with the theme, and I couldn't actually get it to balance out that well. So I abandoned that idea quite quickly. Here I am, I've got my thickers just to the side of me, so I'm just going through my thicker stash, and I want something that looks, I don't know, not Christmassy. The only way I can probably describe it is a little bit Germanic. So I've just picked out these letters from my stash, and I'm just decided that I'm going to split my title over the top and the bottom, so it'll be split over the 2 clusters. So I'm just working out where I'm going to add this, and it's just simply going to be market view. As I said, it will be in the context of other layouts as well. So I'm really happy with how those letters really pop off the page, and because I've used the black ink on those stamps, I don't know, it works together really well. Yeah, and actually these are getting quite old, these stickers, and when I tried to peel them off the sheet, it did leave the backing down, so I have had to glue a few of them down. So, and they really work well for this layout, so I'm really happy that I got to use them. I did think about adding the word Xmas to the top for Xmas Market, but they really didn't look right, and I couldn't really be bothered to go through looking for more stash, and I thought in the context of things this is really going to work. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the Tattered Angels Gold, which I say is slightly less harsh than the Heidi Swap, and just adding that to those 2 clusters. And then finally I'm just adding some of these little pearls, and they're kind of more of a age gold, so they looked really good, and I just add 3 of those to each cluster. So that is this layout. Thank you very much for watching this process video. Hope you've enjoyed it, and as always I'll just put some close-up images at the end. Let me know, guys, what you think about using stamps in the background. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll be back again soon. Bye!